There's an important one called Other Languages. When I click on that, you're going to see that we have documents in a series of languages: Cambodian, French, Haitian, Creole, Laotian, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Most of our stuff is English. A good chunk of it is Spanish. There's just a handful of documents in these other languages. I'm going to click on the Spanish link to just show you that it's a pretty substantial chunk that we have in Spanish. One other aspect about languages and documents, I'm going to browse to another document here to show you. If I go to chemicals and pesticides, I see a series of subtopics. I'm going to click on mixing loading application, and I see all the documents that are in that subtopic, and I'm going to scroll down to this document called Practical Solutions for Pesticide Safety, Protecting Agricultural Pesticide Handlers. So I'm going to click, it's a document, I can tell by this icon, 58 pages in English. I'm going to click on it and show you a little bit about some things that are here at the top. This is from the Pacific Northwest Ag Center, and that's their logo there. Notice this thing here called Other Languages. I'm going to scroll down and show you that this document is in English, but we have a parallel version in Spanish, and when that's the case, you'll see this Other Languages link up here. So if I click on Spanish, I'll pop over to the Spanish language, same content, different language, and then I'll click back to the English version. Also at the top here, you'll see something called collections. Many times we get a document that's a part of a series. That's what this document is. If you click on the name of the collection, it's going to show you the titles of the other documents that belong to that collection. So that's a little bit about language, how to access documents in various languages. The other important way to navigate the site is, of course, through text search. And it doesn't work any different than any other text search that you do on any other website, but I'll just show you a couple things. Let's say I wanted to do a tailgate talk. I could go up here and type in tailgate and click a search button. And it's going to show me every item in the collection that includes that word tailgate. I could click on this one called respirator fit. I can see that's from Ohio State. It looks like it's part of a series. I have it in English and Spanish, and I could print it out and take it to the tailgate, and there's the content, and it relates to respirator fit as the title would suggest. One other thing you can do with searches, I'm going to go up here and search for everything related to cattle. You can apply filters. So I'm looking at everything in the collection that has cattle in it, has the word cattle in it. Let's say I was interested in a video. I can click up here in media type and click videos. And language, I can click on Spanish, apply those filters. And now I'm looking at all the Spanish language videos that presumably have something to do with safety in cattle. So that's pretty much how you navigate the site. There's just a few other kind of final things I'd like to show you on this tour. Up at the top, there's a link called training. If you click on that, that actually passes us over to a sister site. And we have a couple of training modules that we've got available. This one here, virtual tractor inspection training tool, that's from the SCAHIP Ag Center in Lexington, Kentucky. And it kind of shows you how to do a tractor inspection, teaches you how to do a tractor inspection. And this other one, keeping pesticides on the farm, practical solutions for minimizing family exposure. That's from the Pacific Northwest group, and that helps workers understand how to keep the pesticides from getting into their homes and on their family members. Down at the bottom, I'm going to close out this site and go back to the NASD site. Down at the bottom, there's a contact button. You can report a problem. More importantly, if you want to make a contribution or recommendation, there's a form. You can tell us about your materials, and we would love to talk to you about getting them migrated into the National Ag Safety Database. Or if you're aware of materials, they don't belong to you, but you want to just recommend them, you can also use the same form. And also at the bottom of the site is a little feedback button. You can take a survey and make some suggestions. So that is your whirlwind tour of the National Ag Safety Database. I think I'll turn it back over to our host and let her see if there's any questions.
Great, thank you so much. I do have one comment that came through from Jennifer, and others in the meantime, feel free to use the Q&A or chat to drop in comments and questions. But this was that I imagine the average person searches for these resources through Google, and Wikipedia is a common site that will come up. And there's just a question of, are there any links to this database from Wikipedia pages?
That's a question I don't know.
Me neither.
And if not, it might be a good way to further drive people to the database.
Yes, suggestion noted. Thank you.
On that note, though, I imagine through the analytics you're tracking in terms of how most of your users come to your site, is it mostly through an organic search of keywords? Clearly,
yes, 90%.
Okay. Yeah, that the number of new users you had was very high, so I imagine that a lot of them are coming to you for specific topics they're searching.
Yes, and we have a high bounce rate. So a lot of people come and they end up in the site, but it's not what they're looking for, and they leave and move on. So, but I don't think that's unusual.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Serap and Aaron, did you want to add anything?
I would like to add something. Actually, the things I like about NASD is the simplicity. It's a simple, there's no ad. It doesn't direct you some other links. It's so direct. So I would encourage everybody share their products to be published in NASD so they can reach more wider target population if they want.
I would also like to add that I'm part of a couple other database systems like this. Extension.org is another one. And I try to promote them side by side because each of them has their own strengths and not so much weaknesses. I would say strengths of both of the groups. And I always get that question, aren't we duplicating what other people are doing? And not really, because like I just mentioned, one has more strengths than others. NASD, like the search history, that it comes up well, it's highly visible, and it's been around for such a long time. When it first started, it was a lot of cooperative extension stuff that came onto it. A lot of that was because of Carol and some of the startup team. Now we're seeing a lot of the Ag Center stuff being on there, and I know our Ag Center particularly is getting a lot of traffic from links that people are finding on NASD. And also, I don't know if it's a caution or a good thing, but I've been involved in several expert witness cases, and all the lawyers go to NASD to find stuff. So if you want lawyers using your stuff, it does show up when they start searching for that. So there's lots of different uses once you have it out there, but I just know that it's been a valuable resource, and I'm trying to promote it and support it. And I guess I would encourage others to do the same thing, not just put your resources on there, but help collaborate with Jeff and his team. They do a great job, and they're highly reactive to do that. Their Facebook group's another good place to share stuff and to tag them and to just, again, help us network and get more visibility on our ag safety and health resources and materials.
Thank you. That's really helpful. It sounds like the database is quite responsive to contributions and suggestions from others. If there is an emerging issue and there is no content, are any of you able to speak more to the efforts that go into getting that content on the database?
Aaron is the content coordinator, so I'll let him address that.
Yeah, so we try to feed stuff to Jeff and his group as quickly as we can when we find those, or a lot of times when the ag centers have, like I said, a lot of the content started at Extension, and even when we had the flood events going on, we would try to feed information there, both from the Extension system and the ag center system. We also try to keep them connected with businesses like through ASHCA and other groups like that to get ag business involved in some of the producer groups. So again, just trying to alert them to what's going on. Like Jeff mentioned, I think early on, he's not really the content expert, but he can get stuff done for us and get it up online. So we appreciate that. And so it's those of us out there in the field that are doing things that have to alert them to that. They do have some people that are working with them that search and scrub, and they'll send me emails and say, hey, is this good content to put on there? Should we have this up there? So we try to manage it as well as we can, but being, you know, a group of people in many different places has its advantages and sometimes disadvantages, but I see more advantages in it. So we really do try to be reactive, and I think the ag centers have done a good job. The NIOSH ag centers have done a good job of being reactive to a lot of the current events. So we try to feed that to NASD as quickly as possible.